What should we as a society stop making people feel insecure about? Their jobs. If you clean/fix sewage pipes, then thanks for your service. Someone must have the balls to do it. Thank you. The whole blue collar and white collar thing has always mad me off. Trade schools are awesome, and doing a trade is awesome. You may look around and see two groups here, white collar, blue collar, but I don't see it that way. And you know why not? Because I'm colorblind. Being wrong. It's okay to be wrong, just be open to learning. Instead of doubling down or getting angry, I was looking for this answer. People would be a lot smarter if we could all just admit when we don't know or when we have been wrong about something. There is always room to grow, and it's more than okay to change your mind. Aging and the unavoidable physical changes that come with it. I agree wholeheartedly, so long as we are talking about things like wrinkles, thinning hair, sagging whatever, etc. I'm a 35F and these things are starting to happen on a small level and I vacillate between being totally cool with it and freaking out and feeling crappy about myself. I hate the fact these normal things everyone experiences make me feel so insecure, but then I reflect on the fact that many of the actors, vocalists and other performers I admire have barely aged in many years. It would be nice to have more of those types of humans embody true graceful aging, rather than fight so hard to preserve the looks of their youth, lest they be deemed less valuable due to their wrinkles etc. It's such a bummer. There are so many examples of male actors aging naturally, with seemingly no negative effects on how desirable/valuable they are perceived to be as a human. I wish we ladyfolk could see the same on the same level. The people you're referring to who look like they've barely aged have money. They have people prepare their food, care for their homes, and maintain their bodies with private healthcare, so they're ahead of the curve already. Then they can treat their skin, their teeth, their hair, shape their fat and faces, over and over out of pocket because they pursue youth. Pictures of Elon Musk before and after he came into most of his wealth make him look like he's lost 10+ years. Aging is an inevitable process for all of us. All of us will age differently, even without accounting for money, but all of us will age. I genuinely despise that older people are treated as lesser, especially women. You hit menopause and you may as well instantly cease to exist. There is no reason to treat older people as lesser for being in a process the younger are still reaching. All our stories are the same. Our position in time as an absolute is meaningless. We all think less of ourselves as we age, but beauty is timeless, no matter how weathered. Tourists still flock to Athens. Having acne, it doesn't mean you're dirty or don't wash your face. It's simply a skin condition some people get and some people don't. I had acne in my mid-20s. Had to have a hysterectomy. I could no longer have babies, but boy did I ever get perfect skin out of the deal. That sounds like a solid win all around in my book. Sign me up. I'm a cleaner in this. I've literally had people say to me after I tell them, "So you studying, or what are you looking to do?" I'd never cleaned toilets and the worst one was "So, just haven't found your dream job yet?" Like, no, Greg. I'm OCD and have had, this is my dream job. I'm on my feet all day, I get to make things perfect, and the satisfaction is incredible for my mental health. I'm able to support myself and my son and I also get to help the elderly and disabled, who wouldn't want to have that chance on a daily basis. Also, clean your toilet, Greg. It's grotty as hell. I like you. Baldness. It doesn't seem to be as common for it to happen naturally with women, but for men and women, it can be a really sore subject, especially if it starts happening at a fairly early age. You could be in control of every other aspect of your life, but if you start losing hair early, it can take the wind out of your sails. In honor of my deceased grandfather, God only made a few perfect heads, the rest are covered with hair. As a bald guy, I'm stealing this. Making any kind of mistake. Social media has created an illusion that everyone has to be perfect. Honestly, we should praise mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you aren't pushing yourself, which is the only real mistake. We have a no blame culture at work. It's more important to get stuff working again than it is to know whose fault it was. Yes, we work out what happened, but only so we know how to avoid similar issues in the future. It's very refreshing. Bowel movements. As someone with vibes, it happens a lot. Yes, I was in the restroom for 20 minutes. There's nothing I can do about it. It's much harder on me than it is on you. When someone fecking knocks on the door and asks if I'm still in there, yes, I bloody well am. And now it's going to take me another 20 minutes of trying to poop, you jerk. Nah mate, I crawled out through the gap between the stalls. All yours. Your job. Too many people are elitist about someone's occupation and look down on essential workers or look down on boring jobs. I have a stable, relatively well-paying job as an accountant, and I have had several comments from friends and family making fun of me or making snide comments about how boring my job/life is, like I've totally sold out because I'm not a teacher or an artist. I think because it's such a safe career choice they feel like they are not punching down, but it just makes me feel really lame and embarrassed. Boring jobs pay bills. They would still complain if you didn't choose a boring job too. Trust me, I'm an artist. Needing mental health treatment. Even if that treatment includes medication. I get so many weird backhanded comments when people find out I take psychiatric medication. I hate that people think of it as the easy way out and view me as giving up or being weak. I have never understood. I'm 54 years old and I can't understand why people think mental health is just an expression of will. Excitement. Let people be excited about crap. Let them like things you don't. Let people express powerful positive emotions and cry and get deep into how to show anger respectfully. I feel like it's the same for not having exaggerated emotions. I personally show happy, mad, middle, upset. Of course I have more emotions than that, but I don't change my whole demeanor. Thanks for the shirt. It's really comfortable, but you don't have to make me feel like crap because I didn't act like I won the lottery. I said thank you. I smiled. I complimented it. I like it, frick off Susan. Not being active on social media. Get off my back. Be more active. Tell us everything. Exactly. Odd how important it's become. More odd that some folks assume other folks think it's equally important. Exercising in public. To me, anyone giving it a go, no matter their physical ability, deserves praise. Honestly, from my experience, most gym rats are the most encouraging to heavy people. A few of the guys I used to work out with just be at the gym the same time every morning. Kinda made it a point to say small comments to this very heavyset guy that worked out at the same time as us in the morning. You got this, brother. Keep up the good work, man. You're looking good, man. This guy's face always lit up and he always pushed harder when anyone encouraged him. Oh dear, this just makes me scared to go to the gym. I like to exercise, but if somebody acknowledges that, yes, I'm exercising, I get self-conscious and stop until they stop looking at me. Mental health struggles. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking time to figure out what process works for you, despite why people around you might want to tell you. Had to scroll down a lot to find this, and I wish it was higher up. Mental health/mental illness is a real issue for a lot of people, and society in general has a hard time understanding them and are quick to judge, making the ones who struggle with it feel insecure about asking for help and getting treatment. Shame this stigma still exists in 2021. Everything that doesn't harm others but makes the person happy. Be silly, enjoy yourself. Make snow angles in the rain, I don't care. I love geometry too. I thought I was the only one who made snow angles. Nothing better than a true 90-degree angle in the middle of 0-degree weather. Your choice of career. Another one, not having a dream career. Seriously, I do not dream of labor. Teeth. They aren't meant to be fully white and perfectly aligned. Having some skewness and discoloration is okay, as long as it's not affecting you. A lot of actors/celebrities go through this expensive teeth procedure where they basically shave down their natural teeth, then cover all them with this fake stuff, so they forever look white and pretty. Veneers. Some of them don't turn out amazingly well either, and they can come off. Being too shy to jump into conversations. True, especially when you are used to being talked over or ignored when you say something. Liking pretty things. Too many people have this idea that pretty things are childish and you need to be moody and ironically dark. Fool, look at that beautiful flower and stop pretending to be miserable before you actually convince yourself that you are. I nearly lost my mind over some cloud one time and my friends thought I was crazy. Who thinks clouds are pretty? I do, folks. And I'm going to ogle over them to my heart's delight. R/clouds is a thing and it's beautiful and you should join us there. Being an emotional male. Of course there's times where you just can't be, but generally I think that it should be okay without being called a pussy. What are the times when women can be emotional but men can't? Sorry if I misinterpreted. It's fine. It's like when a guy cries, more than likely, someone will say man up, or boys don't cry, which doesn't really help. Meanwhile women are encouraged to cry. I'm fine with women crying and such. I just don't like how men are discouraged from crying/venting. Living with your parents. Rent is expensive, yo. Yeah, I'm 22 and had this talk with my mom recently. She said I don't know why you're in such a hurry to move out. If our family was dysfunctional I would understand, but we have no problems. Also, don't think living alone is all goodies. You'll always have to cook, clean, wash and iron your clothes. Just you and nobody else. Plus, rent is expensive. Lots of people move out just because they can, and then live with an empty fridge and eat noodles for dinner cause they can't afford buying proper food. Well, let's just say I'm not in such a hurry to move out soon anymore, haha. She really made me think about some things. I'll just save money, and if I have to make the move, I'll do it when it's smart, whether that takes some more years or not. Save your money. It's crazy how expensive rent is. My boyfriend and I are saving up to 15k before we start looking. If your living situation is comfortable enough to do so, then take advantage of the rent-free life and fill up your savings. My best friend told me this and how she's happy she moved out with a few extra thousand in the bank in case of emergencies, which she had to buy a new car after her first 6 months of moving in, so the extra cash absolutely helps. Trade school/gap years. College right after HS isn't for everyone. Even some of my smartest friends top of my class should have taken a gap because they burned themselves out getting 95-97% AVGs throughout HS. Exactly. I'm one of them. I never should have jumped into college. I went for something I was talked into because it paid a lot, was miserable, changed majors, still wasn't happy. Graduated with a degree 13 years ago that I never used. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I needed time to figure it out. And money isn't all that matters. Menstruation honestly not that scary. And can we normalize men buying menstrual products for their partners? We all know it's not for you, and to be honest you will probably earn brownie points for doing it. At my last job my desk was right next to the bathroom, so every time I needed to change my pad I would just grab it from my purse and walk 20 steps to the bathroom. Had an older lady tell me it made people uncomfortable to see me walking to the bathroom with my pad. Sounds like a personal problem, lady, but nature makes me bleed, and I'm not ashamed of that. Why, back in high school, I'd hide my tampon or pad in my shirt or pants pocket when I was a freshman. By senior year, I was skipping down the halls of my Catholic's high school waving my tampon around like a wand or a sword. The way you look in any form, that was a result of your genetics. Honestly, the way you look, period. Some people dress a certain way because they are depressed, some because they want to be different. Some people have much bigger fish to fry than putting on appearances for others. Went to the gas station once wearing pajama pants. My sister went in after I left out. Some old dude started ranting to her about how trashy people are for wearing pajamas in public. Didn't realize she was my sister. The night before my ex was beating the frick out of me and entire body was sore. Last thing on my mind was getting dressed to go to a gas station in the middle of nowhere. Frick. That guy. Crooked teeth. They grew in that way and my parents, divorced, both had insurance on me, but argued over whose responsibility it should be. Well, now it's mine, but I can't afford it. Same. I've had a chipped front tooth since I was 13 and I needed braces as a kid. Mom kept saying she'd get around to making the appointment but never did. Now there's no way in hell I'm getting braces as an adult because I have enough trouble being taken seriously professionally as a short woman with baby face, and my employer's insurance doesn't cover Invisalign. My husband had a tooth pulled 2 years ago, and we are still paying it off because our insurance covers Frickle. Invisalign-like company sent me a free kit to get a knockoff brand Invisalign. 2 weeks later I got a letter response from them saying they could not help me because my situation was too bad. What a time to be alive. Not wanting to have a lover. I personally don't care for a love life. I believe the term for this is aromantic, but I haven't told anyone because I feel like the response I'll get will be along the lines of you haven't found the right one or aromantic/asexual people don't exist. I can totally relate. I'm not aromantic, but after a few failed relationships it just feels like so much work to look for someone I'm compatible with. Yes, I want to love someone and be loved, and get back rubs, and have maquillage sessions, etc. But getting to that comfy place takes so much stress. And on top of it, I can't even meet anyone new because of COVID. I'm fine with being alone at the moment and my family has pretty much given up on me finding a BF. You basically described my life, but as a guy, want to not date each other? Not liking or wanting children. People always see bad parents and are like, why did they have kids if they obviously didn't want them? Some people shouldn't be parents. But when I say I don't want kids everyone tells me you'll change your mind, your motherly instincts hasn't kicked in yet, trust me, you'll love being a parent. Ugh, this is the worst. It's a choice I'm clear about, and my unborn children and society should be glad for it. Mental illness and addiction. This, but also the glorification of mental illness. People be like, OMG I'm so OCD I wash my hands after touching the toilet. Like, what is wrong with you? You mean appropriation by non-diagnosed folk, but yep. Body hair. As a cruel twist of fate, I was blessed with body hair that covers every inch of my body, but went bald this year as I turned 25. Not having relationships with some or all family members. Some people just suck, and someone has to have the misfortune of being related to them. Being quiet, you never say anything is such a weird way to both draw attention to someone and give them nothing to work with. Most folks don't understand the power of silence. I understand being quiet is not a meditation for everyone, but damn, not having endless mental chatter is wonderful. Not having endless verbal chatter directed at you without room to respond is good too. Being poor. It's not a choice, I'm doing the best I can, and just because I receive food stamps or any other type of assistance doesn't make me oppose. I see a lot of hate for poor people, like we are supposed to fit the stereotype with dirt on our face and stained up clothes. It isn't so far-fetched to think my designer clothes come from a thrift store, my nails are press-on from the dollar store, and my iPhone is so old it still has a headphone jack. I recently had an argument over why I'm poor with a coworker. Why don't you put $5 away each paycheck? Because I live paycheck to paycheck. But it's only $5. You can afford that. No, after all my bills are paid, I have maybe $30 to last 2 weeks. Oh, so you do have the $5, you just don't want to save. No, $20 goes to gas and $10 goes to laundry. Why don't you have a washer and dryer? Because even used they are expensive to buy and operate. Why don't you get government assistance like food stamps? I make too much. No amount of explaining to these people will ever get them to understand. God, that hurts. I get government benefits, and believe me, missing that cute off point for complete eligibility versus no eligibility hurts, especially when that extra $20 you earned that year means you lose $300 in benefits. Height. Just because you're not 6 feet tall doesn't mean you're unattractive. Also, being a depressed male. If you tell a depressed male to man up, I would not like to meet you. Thank you, from a depressed male. Big noses. They're cute. Thank you for saying this. I'm very self-conscious about mine. The way someone laughs. This world is cold and unforgiving. Laughing makes it all a little less heavy. Who gives a frick what it sounds like, right? I'll never forget in high school when I was laughing in Spanish class. The girl in front of me turned around and went, "Ooh girl, you got an ugly laugh," and everyone started laughing with her. It's been 15 years, and I'm still self-conscious of my laugh because of that. Receding hairline is just natural, man. Vagal discharge. And we, people with vags, so they know they are normal, and those with peens, so they don't judge us for it, should be taught about it from a young age. For a long time I didn't know it was normal until about a year ago, but everyone who has a vag has this. Yes. I wasn't taught this anywhere, not in sex ed, health class, anything when I was young. I read Cosmo, and I don't even remember reading it in there. I thought there was something wrong, but was too scared to speak up. All bodily functions and changes need to be discussed. Can you imagine, if we weren't taught about menstruation, you'd think you were dying. Also gay and lesbian sex edition. People having same-sex relations have different ways of protecting themselves and have a higher percentage of different STDs than straight PPL, and it needs to be talked about so no one is left in the dark. Wanting a real life, not just a 9-5 for 40 hours a week. In the US, people will just tell you to suck it up, when we should be fighting for workers' rights instead of acting like throwing away more than half our waking lives on preparation for work, commute, and work itself is a reasonable way to live. Too tired after my 9-5 and commute to use my weekends on workers' rights. I'm exactly what they hoped for. Being introverted. Yes, oh my gosh. I myself am not really introverted, but my older brother is, and my family is always irritating him about how quiet he is. Some people are just introverted. It's not a bad thing. Stretch marks. It absolutely baffles me when people talk about stretch marks negatively. They're like birthmarks in my mind. Same for similar things like cellulite and back dimples. I actually find them attractive. To me they are like the garnish of the body. People dislike back dimples? This is entirely new information. People never cease to astound me with their pickiness. Reading the directions. Pursuing your dreams. Mental health. I can't tell you how many times people have tried to shame me for having bipolar disorder. Dark eye bags. Dark eye bag gang. As a redhead, I don't enjoy being called a ginger, soulless, or a stepchild. Ginger is an insult? I thought I only meant a lighter shade of red. English is not my first language, but damn I should have picked that up. No, ginger is just a description of a hair color like blonde or brunette. Being unemployed. Taking longer figure out what you want to do in life. Not going to college. Also agree with you on not going to college, especially for those who didn't have the stereotypical college days experience. Such as myself. When I was 18 I was dealing with crippling depression and had so many absences I stayed back a year. I graduated high school when I was 19 and worked retail instead. Then a year later, my family found out my dad had late stage cancer of unknown primary, so at age 20 I had to help my sister bring my dad to appointments and eventually hospice. Whenever someone judges me for never having gone to school, when it was more appropriate in my late teens, or deciding to go to school online, which some people don't consider real school, it's very painful for me to be sized up like that, when I had perfectly good reasons to not have the standard experience / opportunity like everyone else. Where you should be success-wise at a certain age. I'm 23, graduated college, but couldn't get a job in my field right after graduating. I'm living with my parents to save money on rent, working at a restaurant, and growing my skills that I learned from college while working on myself. I'm severely insecure and realized recently that for the past 10 years, I have been constantly striving for a level of perfection that is absolutely impossible and calling myself a failure for it. I woke up to the realization that I was getting serious anxiety and was limiting everything I did. It's just that I'm not exactly ready for the world of adults. I'm terrified and unsure, and it doesn't help hearing people despair over how they ruined their lives when they aren't that old. The pressure to get somewhere in 2 years demotivates me sometimes. It's something I'm fixing, but I don't like hearing people force time limits on others and reprimand them if they never fulfill it or haven't. I saw a post here about a few days ago asking 25-year-olds how they screwed up in their lives, or something along those lines, as if 25 is the deadline for achievements. It's good to have deadlines, but everybody grows at their own pace and has roadblocks in their lives that slow them down. Heck, The human brain apparently doesn't stop developing at 25 and grows even after 60 years old. Some people genuinely do try, but get so discouraged that they give up and then get ridiculed for not doing anything. I only learned recently that my 30-year-old cousin just got over a terrible drug addiction that cost his job and almost his livelihood for years. But he got out, finished college, and is a changed man getting better jobs and doing better. There's always time. The whole good job, good relationships, stable income, own house at 25 thing has been prominent in society for such a long time that psychologists have now coined the phrase the quarter-life crisis for those mid-20s adults who have a mental breakdown because they haven't got the job, or partner, or house they wanted by their mid to late 20s.